if Groundhog Day met Starship Troopers in college and fell in love and then had a breakup montage, then got back together, then got married and had a honeymoon baby, who was loved and taught and raised by both parents. And if that baby grew into a movie, it would be Edge of Tomorrow. This was one of my most anticipated movies on 4K for 2022, and it's pretty okay. Well, the movie is unprecedentedly incredible and awesome and life-changing and amazing. But the 4K is pretty okay. So the Dolby Atmos on this opening beach landing scene is so awesome. Right here, just as he's dangling from the ship as it's crashing, there's so much awesome sound on this part. Just all over the place. Very active mix. So just the sheer amount of bass and everything going on in all of the background is awesome. And for the most part in this movie, the added detail from it being a 4K really adds and is awesome. So occasionally some of the special effects look a little more fake, but the like the brights from explosions and fire and all lasers and whatever, or I guess tracers, is really awesome and vibrant. My only complaint is kind of the end act or end scene of the movie is way too dark. And seems a lot darker than it's supposed to be. Obviously the Blu-ray is a lot brighter, and so in that scene you can actually see what's going on. But I saw this in theaters when it came out, and I do not remember it being that dark in the end scene. I know the end scene was hard to see, but in this 4K it's like really dark. So my goal with the Panasonic UB820 is to just leave it the same on every single movie. Like, don't mess with the settings since the TV's already professionally calibrated by Value Electronics. Thank you. But for this, we have the HDR optimizer on, which is normally really good for HDR10 movies. But on this, I think I have to turn up the brightness a little bit just on the end scene. But other than that, it is definitely improvement over the Blu-ray. It looks a lot better and sounds great. But the Blu-ray didn't sound bad by any means. It's just I think the 4K with the Dolby Atmos sounds a little bit better. All right. I know it's a movie. I know it's a sci-fi. I know it's in the future, and I know it's an alien invasion. And I know that he's portraying a major. But my goodness, dude. That's not a military haircut. So another thing about the film transfer, it looks really good. It has a nice tingly, moving film grain structure, which, as you know, if it's filmed on film, you want to see that film grain tingling because it's the film going through the scanner, and just that natural grain on the film makes like a tingly background. And so I'm happy to report that they haven't scrubbed out the grain and messed up the details at all. So it looks good. But the reason I paused it here is because look at all the cool stuff in these cases. Like, look at this cool stuff. There's like so much attention to detail in this movie. Look at this thing right here. I think this is one of their dropship things, and then just like some different munitions. Anyway, this movie's incredible and has an amazing attention to detail. Look at him. He doesn't want to go on the beach. Bill Paxton as Master Sergeant Farrell. This is probably the best portrayal of a senior NCO I've ever seen in my life in a movie. He's so good in this.
No, sir, you do not.
My name is Major William Cage. Here's Farrell.
That's right.
Love this.
Master Sergeant Farrell.
Master Sergeant Farrell, you're an American.
No, sir. I'm from Kentucky.
Oh, man. Rest in peace, Bill Paxton. This is such a beautiful role and such a beautiful sequel role to his role in Aliens as the young game over, man, game over Marine. So us, his fans, and his family lost him way too soon, but he will forever be remembered as this gem of a master sergeant in this movie. He's so good. His lines are amazing. So the production design in this movie is amazing. Like the sets, everything. These guys' little bunks with all their little junk and everything, like looks really good, looks really authentic, feels very real. But my goodness, look at these berets. Look at that guy. This isn't too bad, but like, dude, I think you're wearing it backwards. All right, so we just joined J Squad here, and this is the day before an invasion. And this part kind of gets me a little weird. Listen to this.
PT, 10 minutes.
All right. The reason that gets me weird is because it says they're going to do PT in 10 minutes the day before an invasion. So in my mind, I'm like, man, if I'm about to do an invasion, maybe don't do PT. That's physical training. So maybe don't do physical training the day before so that you're not all worn out. I understand doing a little bit of PT just to like stay frosty. But one thing I don't understand is just getting all like worked out and tired and then doing a battle the next day. However, I'm not in like amazing shape, so maybe that's why I'd want a break. But this, maybe I'm a little traumatized from this. So when I was a wildland firefighter, I was on a fire and we were going to get a helicopter ride up on top of the mountain that was currently burning. And one of our guys, one of the sawyers, that's the guy that uses the chainsaw, forgot his chin strap for his helmet. And you have to have a chin strap to go on a helicopter. And so the helicopter crew let him have one, but our crew boss, to make him earn it, he had to do 100 push-ups, which fine, awesome. Wildland fire is a little bit paramilitary, totally fine. But the problem that I had is we were flying on top of this mountain that actually had active fire going, and we we're going to land and then start working on it. And the problem I have is they made him do the 100 push-ups right then before we got on the helicopter. And so the dude, like the saw is heavy. And so for the rest of the day, the dude is still cutting, but he's like, 100 push-ups is a lot of push-ups. Anyway, so he was really worn out and you're having to lift that saw over your head over and over and over. And you could tell he was just totally smoked. So I think I'm just sensitive to that idea. So anyway, I think that my crew boss should have had him he's like, okay, you owe me 100 push-ups. Like you can do them tomorrow or whatever. But right before we get in a helicopter to fly up on a mountain to directly start working on a fire, that was a little ridiculous. So anyway, in this movie, I'm not so much. So when they're like PT 10 minutes, I'm like, oh man, you got the invasion tomorrow. Give it a rest. So hopefully they're just doing it to stay frosty, because otherwise I don't like that. So this movie is it's like funny and actiony and intense. But one thing that it does that I think is kind of weird is it makes you laugh at death. Oh, Farrell's face right there. Anyway, so as his day keeps resetting and he dies over and over and over, it's like you're laughing, but you're like, wait, he just died. Like that's not funny, but it is funny in this movie. It's like a weird emotion that makes you feel. So the movie moves along at an incredible pace where you're just like having tons of fun. You're not like sure what the point of it is or why anything's happening until this major exposition dump at about 42 minutes ish, at which the movie takes like a screeching halt, but it's okay because it's been so intense up until this point. Also, this is the point in the movie where they're just exposition dumping you, explaining how the day is getting reset over and over, and explaining like what they have to do to win and what happened to Emily Blunt, to where this might be your face. And honestly, this is the point in the movie that if you don't just accept why this is happening and how they're going to win, then you're not going to have any fun and you're not going to like this movie. So this crazy exposition dump right here, boop. You really just have to be on board with the craziness that's going on, because the entire rest of the movie relies on this scene right here. So I'm not going to show it, but the first time he dies on the beach is so horrifically violent. I was actually shocked that it was in the PG-13 movie. I think maybe the reason it can be is because it's like so quick, but my goodness, it's kind of disturbing. This part's amazing where he's talking about how stuff's in his blood so that the day keeps resetting, and he's asking her if they can reset it by him transferring it to her. I love his hand and body gestures right here.
You know, tried all the options.
Oh, you mean sex? Yeah, tried it.
How many times?
All right.
So if anyone knows me, or for you that are about to get to know me a little more by watching these videos, there's two things that I love: machine guns and aliens. And a movie can just win my heart if it features both. And that movie can even more win my heart if it features the machine guns shooting those aliens. And this movie features that. So I love as he's experiences his day more and more, and he gets more and more like skills and knowledge and stuff. But he has like these like cannon-y things that pop out on the back. They're so cool. Look at this. Yes.
Hold on. I remember.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, just I see that, and it's just like I think it adds years to my life just seeing that. My goodness, this movie is so good. Just everything about it. Like as you watch the relationship between these two increase or develop as they spend more and more time together. I wish I could probably do an audio commentary to this entire movie, but I'll try and wrap it up. Anyway, there's just so much to love about this thing. Look at that. Aww. So speaking of megastar Tom Cruise, there's so many things he does in his movies that if you're watching, that they're in camera, as in you can tell that they didn't switch it out with a stunt double. Like they purposefully have him do something, and then you'd be able to see his face, so you know that he's the one doing it. And this little thing, he's going to tip this little bed over. It just because he's strapped to it, he's going to roll it over, and it doesn't seem like a big thing, but I really don't think you could find any other actor even doing something like this. Look at this. You see that? And that's totally him. So this is a major turning point in the movie right here. A little bit of spoiler, even more spoilers ahead. I mean, I've already kind of been doing them, so. But here's some more right here, right?
Sorry, Kate.
No, wait. I'm out.
Okay. So she's going to kill him to reset the day like she's done many, 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 many times before. One of my favorite parts is when she said, okay, 10 more minutes, then I'm killing you. It's like, oh my gosh. But what's different right here is that she can't kill him anymore because he had like a blood transfusion. He lost power. But my point is that this now adds more tension because up until this point, he's pretty much invincible, right? He can go as far as he can. He dies, he resets. But just like good action movies where the hero loses something, whether it's a power, a skill, a item, it then becomes more interesting and the tension increases. So, boop. So now Tom Cruise, his character Cage, no longer has that power. So now you're watching it and you're like, oh my gosh, he could die and be done. And so then there's real tension for the remainder of the movie. And I like that. And again, it's something that a lot of action movies do by taking something away from the hero. And this movie does it by having his power removed. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Okay, so like I said at the beginning, the ending scene on the 4K is ridiculously dark. So I actually had to go into the settings of my Panasonic UB820 and change the TV type to a different kind of TV, like low luminance, high luminance, to mess with it. So I really, really enjoyed this 4K, but the fact that I feel like I have to adjust the brightness for the end is a little bit frustrating. So for me, that keeps it from being like a super top level, but I absolutely felt like it's worth the upgrade over the Blu-ray, but it was a little frustrating how dark the scene was. Or was it supposed to be this dark and this is how they wanted it? Because, again, spoiler, in this part when him and Rita split up in the parking garage and the big mimic goes after her, it rips her to pieces, like bloody pieces everywhere, but you see it so fast and off to the side that I think they're able to keep the PG-13 rating. But if you're actually watching, oh my gosh, it is like really disgusting. All right, this movie has the perfect ending. Tom Cruise is a really good actor, And this movie is so freaking well written. The action is amazing. The music is awesome. Cinematography is great. The costumes, everything. This movie is an absolute blast. I am so glad that Groundhog Day and Starship Troopers fell in love. All right. I would love to hear what you think of this movie if you've seen it before, and or if you've seen the 4K or the Blu-ray, what you think. And let me know in the comments, and like and subscribe. And also, if you want to, there's a little heart button down below with a little money sign inside. It's called a super thanks. If you want to do that, you can, but you don't have to. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.